This conference will now be recorded.
So let me go to the SAP system. I will go to the SAP Online. Let me enter into the So do you have any questions till today? Any questions related to the configuration or anything like organizational structure or material master or vendor master? Any clarifications? Are you able to complete at least the organizational structure configuration?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then let me go to the XK01 transaction code. I will try to create a vendor master. I will go to XK01, put the company code as IN47 organization, and I will try to go to the purchasing view. So order yesterday we were discussing the GR based invoice verification. So what is GR based invoice verification is nothing but it is a three-way matching. I created a purchase order and I wanted to do the goods receipt, then do the invoice verification. If my process is like that, so I just need to activate a GR based invoice verification. Okay, so then ABC indicator, whether this particular vendor is a class vendor or B class vendor or C class vendor. So you can specify the vendor, whether he is a class vendor, B class vendor or C class vendor based upon the volume of the procurement you are doing. So let us say he is a class vendor and RMA required. RMA is nothing but returnable material agreement required. That means if you received any material from the vendor and some material got rejected, and if you want to return back some material, so you can select RMA required checkbox active. Means if you want to return some material to this vendor, you need to discuss with the vendor first, then accordingly return the material back to the vendor. So if you are not discussing with the vendor and sending the material back to him, then there will be a chances that vendor is not going to accept the material which you are trying to return. So that is nothing but a returnable material agreement. Evaluated goods receipt settlement and auto evaluated goods receipt settlement returns. And these things will be used in case of the if your vendor is relevant for the evaluated goods receipt. What is evaluated goods receipt? It is nothing but one of the functionality. If your vendor is a regular vendor and he is supplying a material constantly from the long 10 years or 15 years, so then without receiving an invoice physically, you can post the invoice in the SAP system automatically based upon some settings. So that is nothing but a automatic evaluated receipt settlement. So if the vendor is relevant for the automatic evaluated receipt settlement, you just need to activate this. Mode of transport, let us select the mode of transport as train, air or something else. Then entry, office of entry, means let us say if you are importing any material from this vendor, what is the place in which the material is that is coming into your country first. Let us say if I am importing the material from Sri Lanka, so the ship will first come to the Chennai port, right? So from the Chennai port, I will be delivering the material back to my plant. So which is nothing but a office of entry. I can select it as a Chennai. Okay, but I will select something else which is available over here. Then acknowledgement required. Acknowledgement required is nothing but where you give the purchase order to the vendor, he should acknowledge, stating that so and so purchase order I have received
and I will be delivering the material again in this particular purchase order and so on so date. Sort criteria is nothing but by material number. If I select a sort criteria based upon material number, if I created multiple purchase orders against this vendor, then I can segregate the purchase orders based upon the material number in a sequential manner. So that is nothing but a sort criteria. Automatic purchase order, if you want to create a purchase requisition automatically against this vendor into a purchase order, you can activate this particular checkbox. Proact control mode, proact control something, so you just need to select something over here. Okay, not everything is mandatory, some of the fields are mandatory over here. Subsequent settlement indicator, B volume and document index active. These things will be used in case of the subsequent settlement. Subsequent settlement is nothing but vendor delivered an invoice of 1 lakh value, but you are able to make payment somehow for 90,000 only. So there is a difference of 10,000 rupees. If you want to make, again the vendor came back to you stating that I have received 10,000 rupees less. So you can subsequently settle that particular invoice amount of 10,000 by using the subsequent settlement functionality. Okay, so then we have a revaluation allowed and grant discount in kind, relevant for price determination, relevant for agency business. So these things will be coming into picture in case of the price determination process. Means you are going to reevaluate the vendor prices according to the market demand and the prices that are happening in the organization or the external vendors. So if you want such type of functionality, you can go ahead and select this particular relevant fields over here. Returns to vendor, if you want to return the material back to the vendor which got rejected in your company, you need to select returns to vendor over here as a checkbox. Service based invoice verification. The vendor is a material supplier, then you will select GR based invoice verification. If he is also a service supplier, he also provides the services. In such cases, you need to select service based invoice verification. Shipping conditions means nothing but how he is transferring the materials. Means like, is it a pickup delivery or a pickup delivery means you need to go to the vendor location and pick the materials and bring into your company premises. Then there is one more thing, that is he will deliver the material to your company premises. You are not at all responsible. In such cases, you can call it as a shipping condition. Pickup delivery is nothing but you will be going to the company premises and bringing the material. Okay, so that is the shipping condition you need to select. Purchasing group, who is the person responsible to the procurement of this particular material? So let us say he is the person in the procurement department who will be responsible for procuring this particular material. Planned delivery time, let us say 45 days, means if you give order today, he will deliver the material within 30 days or 45 days. Nothing but a planned delivery time. Confirmation control key. Confirmation control key is nothing but you give the order, vendor will give some intimation regarding the pre-intimation he is going to give. Let us say you give the order today and that particular vendor received the order. He will say, against your so and so purchase order, I will be delivering this much of quantity on this particular date. So such type of information he is going to give it to you so that you can plan the logistics in your company accordingly. So which is nothing but a confirmation control key. Unit of measurement group, if the vendor is unit of measurement group is nothing but if you are doing transactions against this vendor, in multiple unit of measurements, you need to select all the multiple unit of measurements and group into one of the unit of measurement group. So that is nothing but a unit of measurement group. You just need to select it over here. Rounding profile is nothing but you asked the vendor to deliver 9,500, but he can deliver to a rounded figure of 10,000 numbers. You asked the vendor 10,500, but he can deliver 10,000 based upon the rounding figures. He will be able to deliver the material to you. Price marking agreed. Price marking agreed is nothing but one of the functionality. Let us say there is one material. This is the service data, right? So if you are buying a service from one of the vendor, and the same service again you are trying to buy it from any one of the other vendor, one vendor should not disclose the prices to the other vendor. So you are going to mask the prices so that it will not be visible to the relevant persons or the relevant vendors. Means let us say I am the vendor, I am trying to sell some services to your company. So you should not disclose the service amount or the payment that is being done by company to the other vendors. So that if you are disclosing the prices that I agreed with you, it will be a conflict. So that is the reason I am going to mark the pricing as a I am going to do the price marking, means I will not be able to display the prices into the foreground, so that I will be able to I will not be disclosing the prices to the multiple vendors for multiple vendors. So if such type of functionality is there, you just need to select yes, price marking is agreed. One minute. Okay, so you have rack jobbing service agreed. So this is also one of the functionality in case of the service. You just need to select rack jobbing service if required. Order entry by vendor. Sometimes if a vendor is a regular vendor, he is delivering the material to your company from the long time. So in such cases, you can give the access to the vendor for SAP system. So he can, let us say he wants to deliver 10,000 materials. He himself can create a order, and against that particular order, he will be delivering the material to you, so that your work will be reduced. Why? Because he is a regularized vendor and you are buying the material from the long 10 years, so that you can give the access to that particular vendor and he will be able to deliver the materials by creating the order on his own. Service level, let us say out of 10 marks, how many marks you can give to this particular vendor? So you can give, let us say, some rating like 5 rating or 6 rating based upon the delivery consistency of this particular vendor. So then I will go to the click on enter button, and this is the partner functions. Partner functions are nothing but, let us say one vendor is there, right? So I will show it to you. What is partner function? Means one vendor can perform multiple activities. Let us say he wanted to get some benefits because of the tax implications or something else. Let us say there is one vendor and he wanted to, let us say there is one vendor, he is having multiple offices, right? So his presence will be there in the Hyderabad office. Let us say there is one vendor like MRF, he will have a registered office within Hyderabad, and he will also have a registered office in Bangalore. He will also have a registered office in Chennai. He will also have a registered office in, let us say, Delhi. So I am the company. I wanted to buy some material from this vendor, right? So even though the vendor is only MRF, but he is having a registered office in multiple locations. So let us say I want to buy a tire from this vendor, right? So in such cases, what I will do, I will create a purchase order and give it to the Hyderabad MRF office. So I am going to create a purchase order and I am going to give that particular purchase order to the MRF office that is located in Hyderabad. So this particular MRF office will be considered as a purchase order receiver. Also in the Bangalore office, but this particular Bangalore office is near to my company, right? So I have a company over here and I give the purchase order to this vendor that is located in Hyderabad office. But the same vendor also have a registered office or the registered plant in Bangalore, and this particular Bangalore plant is near to the company. So what he will do, he will deliver the material from the Bangalore office or the Bangalore plant or the manufacturing location. So he is acting as a material supplier. Okay, but when it comes to the invoice, I am going to raise the invoice upon Chennai office. So as a company, for the material that he is being supplied, so I will raise invoice on the Chennai office. So Chennai office is a invoice receiver. And my Delhi office will be behaving as a, against this particular invoice, I will be processing the payment, right, to the materials which are received. So I will make the payment to the Delhi office, which is located in Delhi for the MRF company. So it is a payment receiver. Means one vendor located in multiple locations with his own registered offices. So one office is a purchase order receiver, one is a material supplier, one is an invoice receiver, one is a payment receiver. So one vendor is performing multiple activities based upon the location where he is located. So these particular multiple activities will be called as the partner functions. So you need to define the partner functions that are relevant for a particular vendor. Okay, so that particular partner function functionality, you are going to select it over here. Let us say this, for this particular vendor, who is the material supplier? I will select. Okay, so these are the things, right? So I will just select, I will select sold to party, bill to party, and payer, and ship to party. So these are the sum of the partner functions, but let me maintain internal means. In this case, whatever may be the vendor I am trying to create, he himself is a everything. Okay, so the meaning over here is, I am not sure whether it will work or not. Okay, the meaning over here is I am trying to create a vendor master data. Whatever may be the vendor master data I am trying to create, he only a sold to party, bill to party, payer or ship to party. Nothing but a invoice receiver and goods supplier or payment receiver and the purchase order receiver. So if I don't have multiple locations for this particular vendor, he is located only in Hyderabad. In such cases, purchase order receiver is Hyderabad office, material supplier also Hyderabad office, invoice receiver also Hyderabad office, and payment receiver also Hyderabad office. All these activities will be done by only one person. In such cases, I will put all these things as a internal only. Internal is nothing but the vendor that is being created as a vendor number. Okay, so all these functions will be performed by same vendor. In such cases, you are going to select all these partners for specific to only one vendor. I will just click on enter. I think this will not work. Okay, why? Because we need to create a separate configuration for the separate configuration. Let me try to put something over here. We will see. So this is okay. So okay. So we need to determine some partner function schema, then only it will work. But I am trying to put internal, but somehow it is not working. Okay, just leave these things. So don't mention these things. Okay, so now I will save it. So we were able to create a vendor number 3016. Okay, so then if I want to change the vendor master data, how I will change? What is the transaction code? The transaction code to change the vendor master data is XK02. So I will go to the material management, I will go to the purchasing, then go to the master data, then go to the vendor and central. XK02 is the transaction code which I will be using. I created this vendor. I want to make some changes, right? So then what I will do, I can make some, let us say I missed to maintain the address. So I can maintain the address over here now. So such type of changes is always possible by using the XK02 transaction code. Then display vendor master data. I will go to the XK03 and I will be able to see the display of the vendor details. Let us say whatever may be the details I want to maintain for this vendor, if I wanted to see, I can see it over here. Okay, so then changes. If I wanted to see the change log, I created one vendor, later I made some changes. If I wanted to see the changes, I can see by using the XK03 transaction, XK04. That is nothing but a change log, right? I just created one vendor. I made some changes to the name too, right? Earlier, the name too was blank. Now I can see the name too as a LG Electronics Private Limited. So this is the new change which I have implemented over here. So I will go back. I wanted to block the vendor. So I can block the vendor at the company code level and the purchasing organizational level. So I will go to the, see, I want to block the vendor for all the company codes, then I will select all company codes. I want to block the vendor specific to a company code, I can block it over here. I can block the vendor for all the purchase organizations. I can block it over here. I can block the vendor for a specific to a particular purchase organization also. I can select it over here. And what is the blocking reason? Why you are trying to block the vendor? You want to block the vendor for purchase order creation, or you can block the vendor for quotation and the purchase order creation. You can block the vendor for the purchase order request for quotation and goods receipt. Like that, we have various permutation and combinations based upon which you can block the vendor. Okay, so but I'm not going to block the vendor over here. I can keep this thing as it is. If I want to delete the vendor, I can flag the deletion mark for the vendor as well. Blocking is means I will be blocking the vendor for some period of time. Later I can block. Delete means you are deleting the vendor master completely. Completely means you are not going to use the vendor master forever. So in such cases, you can put the deletion checkbox. So I can delete the vendor for selected company code, or I can delete the vendor for a selected purchase organization, or I can delete the vendor for the selected company code as well as purchase organization. I can block the vendor for the general data. I can block the vendor for the company code and the general data combination as well. So, but I am not trying to do the any deletion checkbox over here. If I wanted to delete, I can delete like this. And I will save it. So the vendor has been changed. Vendor has been deleted, right? So let us say by using this particular vendor, if I am trying to create a purchase order, what it will say, let us see. I will go to ME21N. Let us say I want to create a purchase order by using this particular vendor. What it will say, let us say. Let me try to enter the purchase organization IN47 and material. See, it is giving a warning message. It is not a error message. The system is not going to stop the purchase order, but it is giving vendor has been flagged for deletion. So it is giving a warning message. But if you want, you can make this particular warning message as an error message. If you convert this particular warning message into error message, you will not be able to save the purchase order against this particular vendor. It is your specific settings to the company. So I can save it. But in this system, it is a warning message. It is saying vendor is flagged for deletion, even though the system is allowing you to create a purchase order for the vendor which is being flagged. Okay, let me save it. So like that. Okay, but you have the option in the background to change the message settings. If you change the message setting from warning to error, you will not be able to save the purchase order against this particular vendor. Okay, so then we have account group change. You created the vendor for the present vendor. You created for the account group. What is the account group which we have used now? So you have used DM05, right? If you want to change the vendor from the DM05 to DM06, you can change it by using this particular transaction code. DM06 is not there. So let us say I want to use it BZ01. So I can change the account group from. So you created the vendor. Earlier you created for DM05, right? Now you change it to BZ01. You can change the account group of the vendor master data by using this particular transaction code, that is XK07. Then you wanted to see the list of vendor that you created. What is the transaction code? The transaction code is MKVZ. What is the transaction code to see the list of material? That is MM60, right? If you want to see the list of vendors that are being created, you can see by using the MKVZ transaction code. Let me go to the MKVZ and I will input the purchase organization, or I will input the account group as DM05 and click on execution button so that I will be able to see the list of vendors that are being created for the DM05 and the IN47 purchase organization. I will try to put only the DMBC01 over here. So it will display the purchase vendor which we have created. 3016 is the vendor number which we created, right? So you can see the vendor number under this particular report. It is a report where you will be able to see the list of purchase or vendor that is being created. MKVZ is the transaction code. Then what are the tables that are available for the vendor master data, right? So the table that are available for the vendor master data are LFA1 table. LFA1 is the vendor master general data table. So vendor master general data table is LFA1 and LFB1 is the vendor master company code data table. And LFM1 is the vendor master purchasing organization data table. And LFM2 is the vendor sub-range table, vendor master sub-range table, nothing but VSR, vendor sub-range table for the vendor master. So I will go to the LFA1 and I will try to show it to you. So I will go to the SC16 and I will input LFA1 and I will see LFA1, right? So I will put 3016 is the vendor which I created. I will go to the execution button and I will select, I will go to the details. So this is the table where I will be able to see the general information of the vendor master data which I have maintained. General information is nothing but your address details and the naming conventions of the vendor. You will be able to see it over here. Then LFB1 is the vendor master company code level data table. Okay, so I will put 3016 and I will try to execute it over here. So I will select and I will go to the details. So this is the vendor master company code data table over here. Okay, so then you have LFC1. LFC1 is the vendor master. Let me go to the execution button. LFC1, no, LFM1, not C1. LFM1 is the purchasing organization data table of the vendor master. So this is the purchasing organization data table. Here you will be able to see the purchasing organization information which we maintained, like we maintained the order currency, minimum order value, what is the Incoterms, all those things we were able to maintain, right? So you will be able to see the list of details that are being maintained for the vendor master purchasing organization data. Then I will go to the LFC1. LFC1 is the LFM2. LFM2 is the vendor sub-range table. So vendor sub-range table is nothing but here against a particular vendor, if you are doing the transactions in multiple currencies, so you will be able to see it over here. Let me see, but I am not sure. Yeah. So one vendor like 101010101010 for you can do the transactions in multiple currencies. Let us say here I am doing in euro. Here I am doing in INR. Here I am doing in USD. But here we have seen only one price, that is euro only. For the plant, for the vendor 1987 and for the plant 1000 I will be using the currency as euro. For the same vendor and plant 1100 I can have USD. For the same vendor and the plant 1200 I can have INR. So if you have such type of functionality and the configuration, you can see those details into the LFM2 table. Okay, so with this we will be able to complete the vendor master data. So do you have any queries related to the vendor master data?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any
Hello.
query? Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, if you have block multiple vendors, and which is the transaction code to see? In this plant, we have blocked these vendors, so we cannot give a ask to end user or technical person. So do not give technical conference to him. So where we see this vendor is blocked means as the end user. Just asking.
I think you can see it in this MKVZ only. Let us say I just blocked the vendor, right?
you see here, vendor is deleted, right? This is the central deletion flag. So 3016 is deleted, right? So you will see the checkbox over here is active. That means this particular vendor is deleted. But the vendor 3012 is not deleted, right? So you can see in this particular report, simple. Also, I deleted the vendor. I also blocked the vendor, right? So you can see the blocking and you can also see the deletion checkbox. Okay. Also, you can change this particular report structure as well. Let us say you want it, you are able to see there is one change layout, right? Just go to the change layout and okay. So here you are able to see all the views. Okay, no problem. Means if some only here I am able to see all the fields in this particular report, but if I am not able to see any one of the field, you can select in that and drag it left. Means I don't want to see the country in the report, then what I will do, I will drag it to the left side so that it will not be available in the report. I don't want to see the account group, so I will can drop it, I can drag it to the right side. I wanted to see the vendor number, so I can drag it to the left side like that, right? So see, now I am able to see the vendor number, right? Earlier I was not able to see the vendor number. I don't want to see the vendor again, so then what I will do, I will drag it to the left side and I will, so now I am not able to see the vendor number, right? So such type of options are there. Okay, so any other doubt?
Sir, while creating the material master and vendor master, we are
I cannot hear you. Anyone speaking? Okay, so if there is no doubt, then the next master data is the service master data, but I will try to explain it to you in this particular class for the one of the source list. Source list is also a master data. What is source list? Source list is nothing but for a particular material and plant combination, who will be the selected vendor or the best vendor or the vendor that is needs to be used for a particular material procurement. So who is the vendor? Means and the SAP database I am going to maintain for a particular material and plant combination the relevant vendor details, so that if I am creating a material purchase order for the material at this particular plant, the relevant vendor will be populated into the purchase order automatically. I need not to maintain the manually. So my vendor is, let us say I just created 3016, right? So I will take 3016 as a vendor, and plant I can take it as IN47, and for the material I will try to create quickly a material. So I will try to create a material ROH. So material is X900. I'm trying to create a material X900 for the plant IN47 and storage location 0002, which is nothing but iron ore. Okay, so the material is X900. Okay, so I want to maintain for a particular material and a plant combination, who is the vendor my system should populate automatically if I am creating a purchase order. So that is nothing but a source list. What is the transaction code for the source list? So I will go to the you see under material master data there is something known as a source list. MA01 is the creation of the source list. For the change of the source list also MA01, display of the service list MA03, and change log of the source list is MA04, and list of source list is MA0M. So these are the 4 transaction codes that are available. Okay, so I want to maintain a source list. How I will go to the ME01, and for this particular material X900 and the plant IN47, who is the vendor? So the vendor is from this date 20/05/2022 to 31/12/2022. The vendor is 3016 and the purchase organization is IN47. So I just select. Also, he is a fixed vendor for this particular period of time. Means if I create a purchase order within this particular date and for the purchase organization IN47, he is the fixed vendor. Even though there are multiple vendors, let us say for the same period of time, I can have one more vendor to supply the material. But my system will propose only the 7030 is the other vendor for IN47. But if I specify a indicator known as a fixed vendor, that means, what is this X900? Info record. Okay, we need to maintain the info record first. Okay, so there is one more master data. So let me quickly maintain info record. We are going to discuss later. 3016 X900 IN47. One minute. We will discuss info record in coming sessions. So I will go to the ME01 and I will try to maintain the, for this particular period of time, 3016 is the vendor number, right? So I can select this particular vendor as a fixed vendor and I can save it. See, like this, I need to maintain a source list. What is the use of this thing? The use of this thing is, if I am trying to create a purchase order or the requisition for this particular material, so my system will automatically populate, let us say for the material X900, I'm trying to create a purchase requisition for the plant IN47 and the 0002 storage location, and for the purchasing group. So my system will automatically determine the relevant for this vendor for this particular material procurement. Okay, so if I go to the source of supply and select SN source of supply, see, for this particular material procurement of X900 for the plant IN47,
the vendor is being displayed automatically by the system. So this is the use of the source list. If you want to make some changes to the source list, how you will make? You will use the same transaction code, that is ME01. Let us say I want to make some changes to the date. So here I have selected 203130 and I want to make some changes to 2035. I want to change the date. So then what I will do, I can save it over here. Okay, so like this I can use the same transaction and do the changes to the source list. If I wanted to see the list of changes, I will go to the ME. If I wanted to display the source list, I can display by using ME03. If I wanted to see the list of source list changes, what I did, I will go to the ME04 and I will click on execution button. So these are the changes which I did it. Earlier, I have a date of 31/12/2030. Later, I changed it to 31/12/2035. So this is nothing but a source list change report. Then list of source list. You wanted to see the list of source list that is being created by you. You will go to the ME0M transaction code. And for a particular material, you wanted to see the list of source list. You will go to the execution button. Here you will see the source list that is being created for the material X900 and the pint IN47. So it is valid from this date, valid to this date, who is the vendor, what is the purchase organization. So all those details you will be able to see it over here for the source list that is being created by you. Okay, so the next master, any doubts on the source list? Source list is a simple master data. It is not that much complicated. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, so the next master data is the quota arrangement. So quota arrangement, we will see it on tomorrow. There will be special class, right? So quota arrangement, we will see it on the later session. Okay. So maybe on Monday, we will see it, the quota arrangement functionality. Okay, so we will see the quota arrangement tomorrow onward, from Monday onwards. Tomorrow there will be a special class, right? Okay, so any other doubts?
Sir, while we creating master data and vendor master data, we are updating a lot of information data like material size and material wall. So where do we get this information, sir, in real time project?
You will ask if you don't know the data, you will ask the person who is from the procurement department.
Okay.
Yeah, they will give it to you. You will maintain it over here.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then. So we can meet tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.